Today I'm going to make you vegetable succotash. Now, a lot of people get concerned when they hear succotash. No, no, no lima beans. But remember that it's just a mixture of beans, usually in corn, and often lima beans, but it doesn't have to be lima beans. If you prefer green beans, cool, just substitute those for when I put in the lima beans here today. What I'm going to do is start with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And we've got that in a skillet that's been warming up. Do make sure, because we have a lot of ingredients, that you use a large skillet to start with. And then I've got 1 cup of diced onion. That's about half a medium onion, or 1 small onion if they're pretty small. I have trouble finding them as actual small onions anywhere anymore. We're going to let that cook just a little bit of time until the onion starts to get translucent. And then we'll go ahead and add some more ingredients. That'll take 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how much power and how much heat you've got coming on this. Once the onion starts to turn a little translucent, we're going to add 2 cloves of garlic that have been chopped fairly finely, and several other ingredients at the same time. So my recommendation is for you to go ahead and have everything cut up and chopped up ahead of time, the same way you would if you were making Chinese food or Thai food, that kind of thing, stir fry. Well, I'm also going to put in here 2 cups of diced red bell pepper. You can see the nutrition content of this is going to skyrocket because of that red pepper. It's got so much vitamin C. And while this is going to be cooked for a bit of time, there's still going to be plenty left by the time this is done. I've also got 2 cups of diced zucchini. This is so much different than the other things that we have put in here before as far as succotash is concerned. I've also got in 2 cups of yellow squash, and if you only had zucchini or if you only had yellow squash, you can just make that substitution easy enough. So far I've put in here 1 cup of diced onion, 2 cloves of garlic, 2 cups of red bell pepper, 2 cups of diced zucchini, and 2 cups of yellow summer squash. And now we're going to add some of those traditional ingredients that we always think of as actually being in succotash. Succotash is a very, very old dish. The lima beans and the corn have been mixed together for hundreds of years. And in fact, in the South, during parts of the early parts of the American history, we found that it was just lima beans. Anything cooked with lima beans and a little bit of onion was considered to be succotash. Most often we think of it as a mix with corn or maize, because both of those things are products from the U.S. So we have 3 cups of frozen baby lima beans. Now, if you can't find baby lima beans, you can use larger ones. You could also use canned lima beans with this, but you may have to adjust the cooking time because the larger beans are going to take a little bit longer to cook. Next to that, we're going to add 3 cups of frozen corn. You could use fresh corn if you still have some in the garden. This is a nice recipe for crossing over seasons. We still have a few things left in our garden that you can use during this time of year, and then you can start pulling out those things that you put away earlier. So canned corn drained would work well. You could use canned lima beans, again drained before you put them in. And then the last couple of ingredients that I'm going to put in before it cooks a little bit are half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. We're just going to stir this around, and if you've got larger frozen lima beans, you may actually want to go ahead and put the lid on it so you get some steaming going too. But this is just going to be stirred and cooked until the beans are tender. It'd probably take 10 to 15 minutes. And you don't have to stir it constantly. Just come back to it every little bit, especially if you have a really high heat on here. If your heat is exceptionally high, in fact, you may want to turn it down after it gets going really well so that you don't have anything scorch in the lower layers. You can see how much deeper the colors have developed. The vegetables are softened just a little bit. The way you're going to tell this is done is go ahead and bite into one of the beans, no matter which kind you're using. And if the beans are done to your liking, if you like them a little crisper or a little softer, then the recipe is ready to go. Okay, I'm going to let that just go ahead and simmer for a minute while I scoop up some here and show you the final touch. All this color is just great, and you can use this for a main course as a brunch. You could also actually make this as the inside of a pot pie by putting a pie crust over the top of it. What I'm going to do next is just flavor it up just a little bit more. I've got some fresh sage straight out of the garden that we've just chopped just a smidgen, and put a little bit of that over it, and that gives it that final depth of flavor that is just wonderful. I hope you'll try this one. It's vegetable succotash. For Oklahoma Gardening, this is Barbara Brown.